Hello, welcome to Property Space. I'm Shelvin, and today we have an honorable guest coming from London, Saoirse. I've been practicing pronouncing her name. Irish name sounds very, very sexy, just like a person as well. Saoirse from London. She's the project sales manager from Berkeley and St. James, focusing on St. James schemes. And for those viewers who are familiar with London scheme, UK schemes, you definitely would heard of Berkeley, which is quite a big brand in the property landscape, in the property marketplace as well. So big welcome to Malaysia. It's your first time in KL.
It is. Thank you for having me.
And then I think the sun has been quite welcoming for you as well.
It has. I needed it.
Good. So in today's episode, we are just going to have a really casual chat on the East London market. I think quite a fair bit of Malaysian seasoned investors are quite familiar with West London, but there's a lot of stories about East London as well, up and coming areas, but some areas are already experiencing fantastic capital growth. And today, Saoirse will be sharing a very insightful explanations on how well East London has transformed as a neighborhood, as a community, because she is so familiar with the place-making job as well. So we have a couple of questions for you, Saoirse. So I'm going to fire away. But again, disclaimer is it's just a chat. So relax. We just want to get a lot more insights on the property market because you are a local in the UK. So you can share all of the honest, candid ground experience. So first question, drum roll. So there has been a significant number of new developments happening in east part of London over the years, which traditionally have been quite industrial and considered not the posh area to live in. What do you see in East London now as a result of from all of these new developments?
So East London has had a long journey of redevelopment, really. So prior to the industrial sort of revolution of the 1800s, it was actually all farmland.
Yeah.
So big green space, which actually lended itself perfectly to kind of warehouses and creating that industrial home. But you can still see that green space today. Mm-hmm. So, Bow Green. Green is in the name.
Yep.
But next door to us, we have 27 acres of woodland and plenty of other nearby parks. So that would be Tower Hamlets next door. Then we have Mile End Park, Victoria Park, which I'll mention a bit later. Mm-hmm. And then in more recent years, when there's been sort of more development on the property side of things, you've had Canary Wharf take off.
Yes.
Completely redeveloped that Dockland area. And it's now sort of shiny and new and a new community. Mm-hmm. But developers, after that became established, took advantage of how well connected East London is. I think it became a little bit of a forgotten area. And like you say...
It was very undervalued.
Undervalued, untapped.
Underrated.
A hidden gem, underrated, exactly. And it was forgotten about as in East London's, far away. Yeah. It's really not.
Because everyone has the perception that, it's a rough area, crime rates, always associate with crime rates somehow. That's Malaysian, sorry. I mean, we always talk about, you get mugged there and all this stuff, but that's not East London now. I mean, East London has come out quite a fair bit in terms of transformations. But in general, people would just associate East London with not just the crime rate, but industrials, warehouses, and because it's so close to Canary Wharf, then that's how the changes took place in terms of regen, in terms of revitalizing homes and streetscape. When exactly did Canary Wharf start building with all the high skyrocketing high buildings?
Canary Wharf would have kicked off the regeneration.
Yeah.
Now I don't know the year. I would say approximately 10, maybe a bit longer, when it started developing. And as I said, now it's like a sea of skyscrapers. But when that realization happened of this is a new financial hub, this is where a lot of people are working, it kind of spread that little bit further out. So where we are, Bow Green in E3, we're zone 2. And I think, again, that's a forgotten part of oh, East London, it's far away. It's not. We are 6 minutes from Liverpool Street, which is the start of the City of London.
So close, so central, actually.
Another financial district. So, when Canary Wharf became established, it kind of spread itself out from there. So what's next? Where else have we got space to build? And developers kind of thought, how well connected are these areas? Well, very well connected. So you've got Bow Green, for example, being served by 3 lines. So Mile End, Bow Road and Devons Road. So they've all got different tube lines coming out of them. Devons Road, for example, is the DLR. So that gets you to Canary Wharf in 7 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, coming from a local person like you, when you start seeing changes in East London, what was the first thing that crossed your mind? Would you have were you skeptical? Were you just, not bad, things are finally took off, things are going to change the whole place in terms of demographic, in terms of streetscape?
I would say it's more that it was more of a finally somebody's noticed East London, because
after such a long wait,
after such a long time, and again I'll just keep going back to it, how it's forgotten and how well connected it is and how close it is to the city. It was an untapped place, and because the redevelopment is still kind of ongoing, there's so much more potential there to be had, and so much growth to come. So we've seen areas Shoreditch is right next to the city.
Wow, I love Shoreditch.
Really
amazing
cool
place.
But once upon a time it wasn't cool, and it wasn't shiny.
Nope.
Very rough. It wasn't really a place that people wanted to go, but it's walkable from Liverpool Street, walkable from the city, and that has had phenomenal growth. Very similarly to Bethnal Green, which is one stop from Mile End, from Bow Green. Again, kind of rough around the edges. Considered a real East London place, has a history of, I don't know if you know, the craze.
Oh, yes.
The gangsters that grew up around there, which now has a cool association. But back then, it was considered dangerous.
It was.
But again, it's had this huge amount of growth. So that's E1, E2, and now we're talking about E3, where we are in Bow Green. And I think we're the next ones in line to get to see that growth. It's the next place that hasn't really been developed yet. There are developments there, but what hasn't been done is what Berkeley are doing at St James. And we are placemaking an area which is an established community, but there's plenty of room to add more.
I think generally what you can see currently in Bow area and in Mount End area are predominantly families.
Yeah.
There are also young professionals who are working in Liverpool streets and also Canary Wharf. Is that why Berkeley wants to come in to upgrade the demographic to another level?
I think that the demographic is quite mixed as it is, but yes, it's taking advantage of what's already there and building on what's already established. So, you have older generations who've been born and bred there all their lives. You have the young families, and then a big one over there is students and in more recent years, young professionals. So students-wise, we're talking of 30-odd thousand, if not more. We have
a lot.
Yeah, we've got Queen Mary's University, which is
renowned.
Really high performing in dentistry and medicine. A well-known university, and it's a 15-minute walk from our development.
Very convenient.
So you have that. Then in Stratford, which is one stop away, there's 2 new campuses coming there. So there's London Fashion College opening an East London campus, and also UCL.
Yes.
Yeah. So some big
names.
Exciting news.
Yes,
and these people are going to need homes.
Exactly.
So
that means housing demand.
That does.
Renter demand.
Exactly. And then on the other side of the sort of young professionals, students become young professionals.
Yes.
So
it's a journey, actually. I mean, you would see how they grow as a person, as an everyday person, as professionals, and from one young adults to a grown adults, and then they get married there, they have a family there, all in East London.
It's a full circle. Exactly.
It's a full circle.
When they do their sort of move into their first place in East London at university, they kind of grow up with it.
Yes.
And they develop their life around there and their friendships and things like that. So then they decide, I want to stay.
Yeah.
So young professionals are they've kind of made East London what it is today in a way, because wherever young professionals are, everywhere else wants to be. So in terms of hospitality, the bars and the restaurants will come because they want to service the young professionals. So that's kind of the growth path that we've seen from East London so far, and there's much more to come.
It's a very thrilling experience, I would say, because it's also very rewarding from a person from developer side, seeing so much changes, how you change the landscape, the real estate landscape in the area. So next question, I'm going to tap into both your personal and professional capacity to share first. Well, this question a bit personal, but I think that will also help us to tell a bit more about your favorite lifestyle in London. Where do you live in London? And tell us about your favorite parts in East London in terms of lifestyle, the vibe, any famous restaurants that you like to go to, cafes?
So I actually live in Southwest London.
Southwest. It's the other way.
The other way.
I think you spend quite a fair bit of time in East London because of job requirements.
Exactly. I mean, I'm in Southwest London because my family lived there. And when I first moved to London, sort of like 12, 13 years ago, my friends were living there. And I actually live in Nine Elms, which is quite a good example.
It's a good example of regen.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
So, you've got all of these. It was a bit of a no man's land, Nine Elms.
Industrial as well.
Industrial, nothing really there.
Yeah.
Kind of
it
a
was
bit
ugly.
grey, ugly.
It was like, that was before the Battersea Power Station took off.
Yes, exactly.
Malaysian developers spending and
it was a Malaysian developer. Did a lot for the area.
Exactly. So we were there on site as well. It was like, oh my God, what's going on here? It's like loads of warehouses.
Yeah, it's transformed it. It really has.
It's
and it's a perfect example of
it's been
what
just only
a
10
development
years,
can do.
but everything changed since then.
And now, when I get on the tube at the weekends, at Battersea Power Station, they have sort of like barriers to guide people on the tube because it's so busy. So it just shows what a development can do for an area.
Foot traffic is fantastic.
It is. Yeah. So East London wise, even though I live over there, I'm working in East and I do have some friends that live over there. So my favourite part is probably, apart from Bow Green itself, Victoria Park.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So it's about 20-minute walk.
Lush greenery.
212 acres of greenery. I mean, this is it with East London, going back to your question about, or your point about industrialism. It's green.
It's green.
It's so much greener than people think.
Yeah.
So Victoria Park is beautiful green space, but also the kind of area surrounding it is like village-like, kind of like an English countryside village.
Yes.
Cobbled streets, independent boutiques, little places to grab food, coffee shops.
Yep.
So it's really pretty, but also it's cool.
It's very cool.
Really, really cool. They have All Points East, which is hipsters,
people dress differently over
that's
there.
It. You can tell if somebody's
I
from
could
East
tell you,
London.
it's like, oh, there's an extension or Shoreditch happening right there.
It's spread out.
Exactly. It's a spillover effect because we've seen cool people around Shoreditch, like artists, the galleries everywhere. But now we're seeing so much coming up in the further part of East London, all towards Bethnal Green and Bow. I've seen really cool cafes along. If I'm not mistaken, it should be along. Yeah, it's actually along the Royal Canal. Yeah, correct. Yes, the Broadway Market, exactly.
In Bethnal Green.
Yeah,
in
Bethnal
exactly.
Green,
Which leads on to London Fields and Victoria Park.
That's right.
It's all sort of merged together in a way. They're all closely linked. It's just a really cool area part of London, and they have festivals on there. So it does appeal to everybody because you've got those young families who might have a 2-year-old or a 5-year-old or both. Yeah. They're still young and they still want to hang out, but also have somewhere safe and green to live with their children.
Yes.
And that's why you see young families and young professionals in these kind of areas.
Yeah. It's very different from West London, to be honest. I mean, we've been to places in like the Old Rich, Kensington or Chelsea or Fulham. They're just different because they're like just classic. I mean, they're very, very classic. But when it comes to East London, it's just, I don't know, it's just a lot of surprises. People would think out of the box. It's very eclectic.
It is eclectic, but it also has, that West London feel to it with the greenery, but also plenty of Victorian and Edwardian houses, grand mansions there as well. Because it is, it's London after all, and it was all kind of built the same way.
Yeah.
So, in near Bow Green, we have Tredegar Square, which is a conservation square, and prices are up to £4 million there. And that's just a 10-minute walk from the development. So it is totally mixed. There's new, there's old. At Victoria Park and surrounding areas, you can, they have a Sunday market for food, so you can pick up local
there's a
produce.
Sunday market.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can get things, obviously not local produce as in made in London, but maybe Surrey or Kent. So you can get, farmhouse butter.
Oh, that's fine. I'm happy with that.
So I would say that's my favourite part. But nearby to the development or slightly nearer, we have these kind of Victorian streets, lovely houses. I'll grab a coffee from this cute little coffee van called Blue Daisy.
I've heard of them. I was Googling them. I was looking for a really cool coffee place to hang out. I was there for the site inspection anyway, so I just need some kicker from the caffeine. So I was Googling and I saw this cafe.
Well, that's the best place to go. And you wouldn't believe it. I got talking to the girl working there, and her name is Bo. And she was brought up in Bow.
Oh, that's amazing.
Isn't it amazing? What a great story.
As the name suggests, I was born here.
Born by Bow by name, Bow by nature.
Exactly. Oh, that's lovely. A very cute story. Okay, that would actually give us a lot of kickers for viewers like you who are quite interested in investing in properties in London, but you just don't know which part of London to go. So East London, yes, it would be the next place to be. Now, coming on to the next questions, what is the demographic like in East London? It is so happening as what everybody says it is?
Well, yeah, I suppose we've touched on it already, but it's pretty much what I've said in the older generations, but a lot of young professionals around there. And it's the students who turn into young professionals and end up staying in the area.
Exactly.
I know a lot of, I would say from my friends, but also I'm eldest of 5 children. So there's a lot of us coming through London.
Big family.
I'm not originally from London, but we all kind of, it's a rite of passage almost to move there and explore the city and kind of grow with it. And my brother, who's next one down from me, his friends are more, I would say, brave is not quite the right word, but they're open to exploring different areas. Adventurous, maybe.
A little bit bold, maybe.
And they're all moving out east, saying, why are we paying these crazy prices in southwest London? Like, what does it have that East London doesn't have?
Yeah, that's true.
And they're all moving out east, and their jobs, they can get to easily because it's well connected. Most people are working in the city or the West End. The West End is 16 minutes from Mile End on the tube. So you can, get to Selfridges in 20 minutes. If you need to.
But the local don't go to Selfridges, right? I mean,
we don't really.
Just Malaysian in particular.
Yes, maybe for your market, it's good to know.
Exactly.
So they're sort of going out there. And like I said before, when people move to these areas, it's like a build it and they will come. Creating this new lifestyle, quality builds and kind of a luxury lifestyle feeling to it, which is what we're trying to add to the area. And I think there's ones who are young professionals who are already there. And I think this will entice more to come. So, what we see with it is, London kind of cost-wise goes from the inside out. So as those areas become maybe a little bit unaffordable for young professionals, where's next? Where's next? And like I said,
it goes wider and wider, further.
Until you're in, Northampton.
That's very far.
No, I'm joking. So, Bow is next on that list. So I think we're going to have, in terms of buyers, we're going to have people, young professionals who maybe can't afford Bethnal Green or Shoreditch. They might be renting in Shoreditch, but they can't afford to buy there. So where's next, and where's still easy to get everywhere?
And currently, the price per foot in Bethnal Green or Shoreditch is between 1,000 to 1,002. That sort of price mark.
It is.
Whereas Bow being so undervalued, underrated, is around. Actually, there were like a few units, probably priced around £750 per foot. All the way up to 900, depending on the type of the units. But we get to that on the last questions. But in general, I do see the changes in demographic. I think if I were to just recall my first visit to Bo, it was in 2010. I think pretty much in terms of regen activities, a project, it was just starting. And just a fair bit, or just a 20%, 30% that sort of progress. The moment I got off on the tube, I got a shot of my life as well. No, I mean, it's not pretty. I mean, the problem is that we are so used to seeing pretty things. So when we saw pretty things, we would just determine it, or we just mark it as that's the best product without seeing the future landscape or how this will create potential in terms of capital gains, in terms of rental demand. Because good things need to wait, to be honest. But I think from very surface, how as an investor who don't make informed decision, they tend to look at something that is already materialized.
Yes.
Instead of something that is still work in progress. So I was falling into that category. I make mistake as well. So I was just really young, probably just 2 years in my job. Then my boss brought me to the site. We're just looking at a few constructions or projects in Bo area and Poplar. So I was like, are you sure we are doing this? Because there's so much of non-pretty things. The streetscapes were old. Shops were very old as well. Not much on the demographic, because I know for a fact that London has a very mixed, it's a melting pot. You get everyone there is a very diverse demographic in the area itself. So I'm not worried about demographic, but it's the buildings, it's the landscape itself, the streetscapes. Then dirty, it was quite dirty. I mean, just my honest opinion. But then fast forward, I went to Bo last year. It was probably around early June. This is when summer just starting, and beautiful weather.
At least you had the good weather.
Super good weather. That day itself was the best day throughout my trip, and I was at Bo, and I got to see the sites, the existing housing. Everything changed tremendously. It was nothing like what I see back in 2010. It was nothing like it. And I walked into the Cemetery Park, which is an iconic park in the area. And you would be thinking, oh my God, Cemetery Park. But come on, guys, it's different from Malaysia Cemetery Park. The park itself is an iconic landmark in the area. It's big. I forgot how many acres, but
27.
27 acres. But it's a nature park. It's a nature reserve.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like our frame here, which is quite close to Kepong, but in a more concentrated setup where it was all surrounded by houses, but it's still big enough for school trips. School children will come over for their studies. It's actually a study materials. It's also for charity events. They do quite a fair bit of voluntary works as well. They have quite a lot of event space in the area. Even a place for shooting, for films, for documentary. You get to see quite a fair bit of rare bird species as well. So it's so beautiful. I was like, is that the East London that I was visiting back then? Like, I got a pleasant surprise. And even when I walk up, all the way up to Mount End, to the station, I was expecting to see some really dodgy houses. No. I didn't see anything like that. I only passed by really nice schools on my right side, and then a fair bit of townhouses, terrace houses. They're old, but they're decent.
Yeah.
They're decent. And I was also walking along, there's a park, the Mount End Park, on my left side, straight up. Then I actually saw Queen Mary on my left side, and Mount End Station.
Very close. Yeah.
I was like, this is a no-brainer. I mean, this is where we want to be. I'm a local, I'm looking for convenience, I'm looking for connectivity. If I want to have a family, Queen Mary, okay, probably probably not thinking too ahead, but I just think that as a parent, I would love to have a renowned university in the vicinity as well, apart from primary school, apart from secondary school, because if I want to sell my property in Mount End, in Bo, this will be all the selling points. This will all create demand as well. So I was really pleased with all the offerings coming from Mount End and Bo. So I was 100% convinced.
And you say that was, what are we on now? That was 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And you've seen how much it's changed in that time.
Correct.
Give it another 10 or 14 years and it'll be another place yet again.
Exactly. So this is what place making means. They are converting a very old place to a brand new address.
Yes.
And that's how they create demand. So coming up, the fourth question is also very important. This is all about Bow Green, because we have been mentioning Bow Green all the time. So St. James has quite a few new schemes in East London. Can you tell us about the latest launch St. James is having and why it is so investor friendly? There we go.
Absolutely.
There we go. Let's dive in.
So Bow Green is brand new development, just recently launched in the UK. And first completions will be Q1, Q2 2026. So it's not a huge amount of time to wait. And we will be building up to 1,450 homes. So plenty of places for people to live. Lots of new people coming to the area with that. And there'll be 5 phases. So the master plan is going to be sort of 8 to 10 years. But yeah, first completions coming in 2 years' time.
Yep.
And this development, it's kind of tying into everything we've just talked about now, but it is something brand new to the area. Not just because it's a new build, it's something that this area needs and hasn't seen yet.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm talking the immediate vicinity. Of course, there are new developments nearby. But in this sort of South Mile End Bow area where we are, the new developments they're older.
Yeah, they're quite basic, actually.
Quite basic, and they don't have the facilities. They might have some or none at all, but in my opinion, they certainly don't have the quality and the luxury feel that we'll be having.
What you guys have is unrivaled.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's sort of pioneering for the area, really.
Yes.
Bringing this shininess of central London and West London, Southwest London over to this part of East London. You see it in Canary Wharf, absolutely everywhere you turn.
Yes.
But you pay for that.
Correct.
It's a different price tag for that kind of luxury. And, we're trying to create a lifestyle and placemake, as you say. This is somewhere where we're perfectly balanced between nature and the city. So if you stand outside Bow Green and look up, you can see the Canary Wharf skyline.
Fantastic.
You can read JP Morgan. You can read HSBC.
We can actually walk to Canary Wharf.
You can. 25 minutes.
Easy
so
walk.
on a sunny day, June, for example. Maybe you come again in June.
I will. Definitely.
It'll be an absolutely lovely walk. And you can walk along the river. There's a towpath nearby, Regent's Canal towpath. There's the Thames, which is about a mile away. But yeah, it's, we are bringing something that it hasn't seen. And that's going to include working from home spaces. So that's really important nowadays.
Yeah.
The idea is, I suppose, we're slightly inspired by Soho House. And their tagline is your home away from home.
It's a hub.
It is a hub.
Yes.
And you have your home, but you get the benefits of kind of not being at home.
Yeah.
So, for example, we've got a restaurant coming on site. So that'll be an all-day dining restaurant. And it's kind of a destination restaurant, somewhere where people will come far and wide just to enjoy it. And you can grab a coffee in the morning, you can get your lunch, dinner, or drinks later.
Yeah.
And next to that, so internally, we've got a residence lounge. And that's got a door, which is fob access only for residents to go in and out of the restaurant. So again, with this idea of your home away from home, you can go in, get the service from a restaurant, but come back to the lounge and relax
that sounds great.
Like you're in a living room. Yeah,
I should live in there once it's complete.
Yeah, I know. And, you say that, but what's really special and reinforces that what we're doing it right is we're having staff members buy, and we're having many of our third-party agents like yourself buying at Bow Green because they believe in the product and they believe in the future.
I don't see why they don't, to be honest. It's a really a price-to-sell product. Tick all the boxes. Actually, it ticks every box, to be honest.
It really does.
Every box. I can resonate strongly because what Bow Green essentially is offering is very similar to where I live right now. I live in Mont Chiara, which is quite a expat and local focus area. It has got everything. It's a hub. It's not big itself. The community is not big, but it has got 2 international schools.
Yeah.
That I can pair it as, having Queen Mary at doorstep. pretty similar. They have high-end condos, but below the condos will be all the retail spaces like a small community mall. You get all your grocers, your restaurants and cafes. While the local enjoy the amenities there, the outsider who live outside of Mont Kiara will come here to enjoy the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that's what Bow Green is essentially showcasing. It's actually a product strength. It's a unique selling point in the sense that they are not just building homes. They are not just building a nice swimming pool and amphitheater at the back. They're actually building an iconic landmark.
Yeah.
Where people want to be seen hanging out there.
It's not just for residents. That's the thing, we are building for the community as well. And like you say, so the amphitheater. So we're on about 9 acres, just over 9 acres of land, but over 5 acres of that will be green space.
Yes.
Sort of 3.5 of that space will be public park, and with this amphitheater sort of a sculpture built into it. So it'll be a place where people come and do their picnics.
Do you know what? We just did a feng shui talk on Bow Green a couple of days ago, and that amphitheater site brings a lot of good energy.
Good.
That's proven because it's an open space, and from the feng shui point of view, it's actually a very good Ming Tang, which means bright hall, and bright hall welcomes great energy coming from money, health, family, relationships, and so
all
on.
The best things.
All the best things. So feng shui feng shui and property works hand in hand, to be frank. I mean, coming from Asian's point of view. So that's how we bring harmony in between these two elements. So for anyone who is feng shui focused, you're very feng shui motivated, Bow Green is really a good choice to consider. I think at the end of this episode, we'll put down our contact details. If you want to receive more information on Bow Green, please come to us, drop us a message, give us a call, then we will get to you as soon as possible. So that ends the episode today. Very insightful sharing from Saoirse. We hope to see you again very soon. Come back to KL.
Yes, please.
And let's talk about maybe other things in the next episode. Probably 9 Elms, maybe sometimes. We never know. So yes, see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.